How does the feedback you receive generate action? Sometimes the requested action steps from our received feedback may be a quick behavioral change or an easy process change. It may be a mindset shift or consideration for the future. These are inherently simple changes that make for small wins. What about more complex action steps? What about the more meaty topics that could take a long time? How can you guide the pace of feedback? Where should you guide the pace? If possible, guide the pace to prepare for feedback reception. I was leading an organization and the time came for the annual survey. I knew the executive team was overwhelmed and I asked, are we ready to take any sort of action based on the feedback we receive? The answer was a resounding no. So I asked, how can we prepare to take action based on the feedback we receive? And what would be a revised timeline for the survey? We identified the actions we would need to take to position ourselves for action and decided it would take about a 4 months delay. So we delayed the survey for 4 months and prepared to receive information. This is a macro example of preparing for feedback. But we see this in our everyday lives as well. My sister called me the other day while I was busy. I told her, I really want to hear what you're telling me right now, but I'm distracted. Can I call you back in about 10 minutes so that I can give you my full attention? I understand. Sometimes you get feedback whether you're ready for it or not. But sometimes you have the opportunity to prepare yourself for feedback. So be ready to receive feedback. Also, communicate the pace of action from feedback. Sometimes the action requests from your received feedback won't be made for some time. I was leading a team who gave feedback on a project they believed was important in the company. And it was, but it wasn't priority at the time. You could have 123 important matters in a business, but you must prioritize a few to complete with excellence. I listened to the feedback and clearly let the team know that it was important, but would not be a priority or addressed for another 8 to 9 months. The person felt heard and had clear expectations. 9 months later, I let the person know that I remembered their feedback and the proposed project and was now ready to move forward. On the other hand, I was working with another company and someone complained that they did not get feedback in their department. 4 different people piped up that they had given a tremendous amount of feedback in the past and they never saw the fruits of their efforts. They never saw an action change. They felt as if their feedback was entering into a black hole of nothingness, and so they stopped. If you refuse to listen to those around you, you will eventually be surrounded by those with nothing to say. Let people know the action generated from their feedback. Now, there may be times that you need to speed up a feedback loop. Perhaps you are receiving feedback too slowly or taking action based on feedback too slowly. Depending on the market, organization, and situation, you may need to communicate urgency and realign priorities to position your team in the best way possible. Too fast and you may experience confusion, frustration, misunderstanding, and lower quality and burnout. Too slow and you may also experience frustration, misunderstandings, a lack of competitiveness, lack of relevance, and low energy. As the leader, you set the direction and the pace. In leadership, we often talk about setting the direction, which is true. We also need to set the pace. In a quickly evolving work environment, we have more data and more feedback coming to us than ever before. So here's what I want you to do. Consider when to speed up and when to slow down. Thank you for joining this episode. For more information about our performance feedback learning and other talent development learning, follow me, Amber Vandenberg, and my company at the Pathways Group.